Hi, I'm Yvonne from Pree Designs Paper Crafting. We're already in the month of June, and for June my one bundle 4 ways is going to showcase, and I keep calling it the wrong name, it's the Relaxing Waterside bundle. The Waterside Retreat is the designer series paper that coordinates with the Relaxing Waterside bundle. I may call it the wrong thing as I go through my video, so please excuse that, but it is definitely the Relaxing Waterside bundle of products, which are stamp set and dies. So this will be card number 1 of my designs. The Waterside Retreat bundle of products can be found in our May to August Stamping Up catalogue, and it's found on page 20 and 21 is the main spread. This showcases the dies, the stamp set, the papers, and these gorgeous little embellishments. On page 21 you've got some lovely sample cards which the very talented concept artists have put together so that you can easily recreate and you can design and play with the Waterside Retreat bundle. The stamp set, oops, I've got a little stamp image there. This is your stamp set. It's a photopolymer set, and then the dies. I've actually made my own sheet, which I do for each of my die sets, showcasing the stamped images and then the coordinating dies, and then any extra dies that come in the die pack. Then I've also got the papers. Now again, I like to make these sheets up for my papers so that I can easily reference, one, the colours that Stampin' Up have designed in the papers, but then to show you a little sneak peek of what's in the paper so that I don't have to get the whole pack out when I want to have a look and when I'm designing. Now you've got 5 sheets here and they're double-sided, and then the final 2 sheets is actually a panel sheet. Oops, and I have that upside down. Let's turn that around. And this is your panel sheet. So this makes really, really easy card fronts and little pieces to put with your cards. So I'm starting off with an A4 sheet of our thick basic white, and I'm just cutting that in a landscape orientation at 14.8 centimetres. That gives me 2 card bases. Then I'm going to turn that into a landscape orientation, and I'm going to score, not cut. I'm going to score it at 8 centimetres. Nope, 8.5, sorry. 8.5 at 10.5. and at 12.5 centimetres. And then I'm going to fold that in a valley, mountain, valley orientation. And then I'm just going to squeeze that closed and pull in my bone scorer and just burnish those folds so that they fold really nicely and they're very precise. Go to the back. And then that's the base of my card. Then I'm going to put in a couple of pieces of basic white. So my basic white pieces are 7.4 centimetres in length, and in width are 3.5 centimetres. I've already got those prepared because you don't need to watch me cut those. And then I'm going to attach them to the centre spine. Now you could measure this if you wish. I'm not going to. I'm just going to eyeball it. I want to attach, I'm going to say about 1 centimetre from the top, and I just want to attach it onto this side panel here, or this little, the right hand side of the mountain. That's about enough. So I'm just going to attach that one there. I'm going to do the same on the same side of the mountain as the first one, and again about 1 centimetre up from the bottom, just putting down some glue. Going to go a little bit higher with my glue and then attach that on the right side of the mountain. And that's those so far. Then I need to attach on the left side of the mountain, and I'm going to go in between those two. So again, I am just going to eyeball it. That looks pretty good. I'm going to slide that to the side so I can see where my glue needs to go. I don't want to put too much glue down because I don't want it to ooze out the sides or the top or bottom of my cardstock. and I'm just attaching that there. So that is the little flags. Now it's time to decorate. So I went ahead and prepared my mats. I've got a grey granite mat for each side, and they are 14.3 centimetres by 8 centimetres, and then the lovely wood grain designer series paper from that Waterside Retreat paper, and that is 13.8 by 7.5. And I'm just going to use my Tombow glue to adhere that to each side of the panels or the inside of the card. Now I've chosen quite a plain designer series paper for in here because I want to add some interest with cutouts and die cuts inside the card. And I've got a nice little border all the way around. All right, that's my inside. Now I'm going to turn to the front, and I'm going to make my mats for the front. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out one of the panels of this lovely panel piece, and that was the panel here. I just cut along the lines, and I'm going to use this one here. And this has the lovely stripes on the back. I've also gone ahead and cut a piece of Misty Moonlight mat, and that mat is the same as the grey granite on the inside, which is 14.3 by 8 centimetres. But I want to add a little bit of interest and a little bit of detail. So I'm going to use my lovely stripes embossing folder, and I'm going to add some texture to this Misty Moonlight paper. So I'm just going to go away and I will emboss that. I'm now just going to adhere the stripe, or the lovely stripes, Misty Moonlight. I'm going to adhere that flat, so I'm just using the Tombow glue. And then because I've got this lovely panel, which is about the same width as my card front, I've got a bit of glue there. I'll have to get that off later. I'm going to do something a little bit interesting on the two opposite corners. I'm going to roll the cardstock just to give it a little bit of interest. Now, rolling the cardstock, I'm just using my bone scorer to add a little bit of a roll. Then I'm going to roll it on a pencil to finish that little bit of a roll. This just gives a really nice, interesting texture or interesting look to the front of the card. Doing it on a pencil just because that will hold it a little bit tighter. And over time, that will unravel, but it sort of gives the idea of a little bit maybe of a map. And then I'm just going to use the dimensionals to adhere that onto the front of the card. So I've just put some dimensionals on the back, obviously not where I've rolled the card or the DSP, and then I'm just adding that to the card front. And keeping those bits rolled up for my little bit of interest. Now I'm just going to get an adhesive remover. Stampin' Up! Used to have these, but they don't anymore. But I still had a couple in my stash. It's like a rubber, just takes the excess adhesive or glue off. So I've just got a little bit of extra there, and it doesn't spoil your paper. Great little tool. All right, so that's my card so far. Now I need some elements to put on my little tags and some elements for here. So I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. In the designer series paper, we have all the lovely, I'll just bring some bits in, all the buoys. We have oars, we have life jackets, or depending what country you're in, they might be called life preserves. We also have fish, and we have bicycles. I'm not going to use the bicycles. I'm going to use the life jackets, the oars, and the fish. And I've got a few pieces already cut out. So I'm going to stop the video and I will cut some pieces out, and I'll be back shortly. All right, so I've fussy cut a whole series of elements from the designer series paper, and also done the grey granite mats for the little flaps, and the mats are 7 centimetres by 3 centimetres. I'm just going to flat glue those on to each of the little flaps, and I'm flat gluing them to the side that will flip open when you view the card or when you open the card. and that will reveal the element that I'm going to stick on them. So just, oopsie, adhering the third one. And this is a great little card design. It's called the triple flap fold. And so this is it. So when you open it, that's what you're going to reveal. And then when it sits on a dresser or whatever, a sideboard, that's how it will sit. So I haven't worried to decorate the other side. You could decorate the other side, but I want to keep this as my focal point of the card. So then I'm going to bring in some dimensionals, and I'm going to dimensional 2 of the things on each of the flaps. The only thing I have to be aware of is that I'm not putting my pieces either above the top of the card or impeding in the next flap that is underneath. And then I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals. I usually use 3 per piece, roughly in the middle of each of the elements, because that's where I'm wanting to stick it to the little flap. So just putting it on an angle there. I'm going to put that one there. So I'm going to do the same, put a few little dimensionals in the middle of the life jacket. Oopsie, stuck it to my finger instead. Okay, get the last one off and then put that on that one. Then I'm going to put the oars in the middle, but again, I've just got to be careful that that's not going to impede. So I'm going to pop the dimensionals on first, but I'm not going to stick them down hard and fast until I know that I'm happy. I'm going to snip off a little edge piece so I can put a little edge piece in there. So all of these pieces of dimensional get used. I never waste any of it. I just realized you can't quite see that, but I never waste any of it. I use all of it. So I'm just going to take the backs off the oars, off the the papers off the oars, and then I'm just going to put that down, but I just want to make sure that my card still opens nicely. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that opens nicely. You can see that that bottom part of the oar flips and touches that flap, but it still opens really easily and really nicely. Right, so then I think this is called a buoy or a float. I'm not a fisher person, so I don't know, and I'm not really a boatie either. So that will look nice. Yep, going in that direction. And then I think the last thing, I'm not sure whether I want to put oh yeah, that would look rather cute. No, that might be too much. I think I might just put the 2 fish down. So again, 2 or 3 dimensionals. I think I'll probably just put 2 on each of the fish. I won't put the dimensionals on the second fish because I need to look where it's actually going to sit and where it's going to adhere. So I'll put that one through there. Where's my other fish? And I'll put him across the top. So I'll put a dimensional on the tail. Got to be careful not to get it at the score line, and then a dimensional just on the back of where the gills are. And then I'm going to pop a tiny dot of glue on the front there so that that part actually sticks to the other fish. So flip that over. Oopsie, moved it. Making sure that the tail isn't obstructing the fold. And then I'm pretty happy with that. So I've got the front decorated. I will put a greeting on the front, and then I've got the inside decorated. Then I'm bringing in the stamp, which is the deck chair, and I have a piece of pecan pie cardstock, and I'm going to stamp in the same colour, and then we have a great die, so I can just die cut that deck chair out. Okay, that's my deck chair. And then I'm also going to stamp the seagull, and he's going to be in grey granite. That's bringing in the grey granite, which is the mats. So that's tying in all of the colours. So I'll just go away and I will die cut both of those pieces. So here is my deck chair and the little seagull stamped and, oops, if I can get him out, and die cut. And I'm going to pop both of those because of the way the deck chair sits. I'm going to actually pop that on this side. And I'm going to again use dimensionals for that so that it raises up. And just pop a few dimensionals on the back. I won't put dimensionals on the seagull yet. I'll just decide where he's going to sit best. And that's almost as if the deck chair is sitting on a log, in a log cabin. I don't know that I'm going to use that. The seagull, I might just pop down there. So I'm just going to put one dimensional on the back here because I want that to sit onto or adhere onto the wood grain designer series paper, but sit as if it's right up next to the chair. I also decided I would stamp and die cut the book as well because the chair needs something to be resting on it. Yep, on that side. So a little bit of glue on that. I want that to be sitting flat on the arm of the chair. Right, so now I have cut my insert, or where you would write on. That is 6 centimetres by 9 centimetres. I'm going to bring in my Misty Moon ink, Misty Moonlight, ink up my greeting. I've also put a tiny little pencil mark on the paper so that I can stamp that straight. And then I'm also going to bring in my grey granite and put some seagulls across the top, or a seagull at least. Yep, that's pretty good. I'm also going to put some seagulls on the top of my envelope because I always like to decorate my envelope. 3 is a good number, and then also add them to the back just to finish off the stamping and the card idea. And then I need to erase my pencil mark. That should be dry. Yep. And adhere that in. And then that gives you a nice space to write who the card's to and who the card is from. Having these lines here makes it a little bit easier to get nice and straight. So that's that. And the final thing I need to do is add a greeting to the front of the card. So again, I'm bringing in the Misty Moonlight ink and I'm using the stamp from the same stamp set that says, "Today is your day." That's great. And then I'm just going to snip it, give it a little bit of interest, a couple of dimensionals on the back again. And then that's going to go on the very front. I'm actually going to put 3 dimensionals across there, not the 4th. Pop the lid on my ink pad so I don't get ink on my almost finished card. That has happened to me before. And do I want it? No, I think I want it through the middle here. That's nice and straight. So that is my triple fold flap card, 1 bundle 4 ways using the Waterside Retreat, card number 1 for June. I hope you've enjoyed. I will put a list of all the products that I've used in the description. Stay tuned for card number 2. Thank you.